What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another review for Monday Night Raw. This one is from August 14th, 1995. Raw starts off with some words from Jerry Lawler regarding his match against Shawn Michaels. Tells us that he's going to finish what Mabel started last week. I'm going to be honest with you real quick. I thought that Mabel winning the King of the Ring was going to be a little bit more insulting to our intelligence, but I don't mind it as just a quick one-off feud for Diesel. Sure, it's SummerSlam, one of their big four pay-per-views, so it should be somebody else, but for what it is and the amount of time that they're actually giving it, it doesn't really feel like it's being shoved down our throat, which is pretty good because Mabel should not be in this spot. So, for our first match, we have Doink the Clown, who isn't accompanied by Dink this time. He's taking on Waylon Mercy, two wrestlers who have gimmicks that could terrify anyone. You got a clown on one hand, and a psycho serial killer guy on the other hand. They really should have saved this one for the Halloween special. Waylon goes for a handshake at the start, but Doink doesn't fall for it. It's some fun and games at the start of the match, but Waylon gets serious and delivers a clothesline and then locks in the sleeper hold while the crowd start cheering Kill the Clown. And he does just that by making Doink pass out. So Mercy gets the win here, and Waylon is now also 3-0 on Raw since making his debut, so going after that dominance award here. Then we get our first actual look at the Goldust character in a vignette. Would love to see WWE and AEW do these when introducing new characters. I don't care if they're famous on the indies. If they're new to the mainstream, give them vignettes. Goldust goes on about Hollywood and how he's a star. So yeah, Goldust getting his character across with these promos. He's a little bit out there, so we're gonna see how the crowd take to him when he debuts. This being the mid '90s. Then we have Henry Godwinn come out to confront Ted DiBiase. DiBiase was on commentary replacing Jerry Lawler for the show, and on commentary he said that Godwinn was not part of the Million Dollar Corporation and that he paid him a cheap price because he needed a dirty person to do a dirty job. This being when Godwinn came out and helped the Million Dollar Corporation with Bam Bam Bigelow a couple weeks ago. So Godwinn took offense to this, I guess. He comes out and he makes Ted DiBiase get on his knees and squeal like a pig. Then he turned face by pouring the slop bucket on him. DiBiase ends up leaving the commentary desk to get his suit cleaned, I guess, and he is being replaced by Doc Hendricks, also known as Michael P.S. Hayes. I think I've mentioned that Doc Hendricks has been on the show before, right? I don't know. But yeah, if not, Doc Hendricks is now in the WWF as well. Next up, we have the Smoking Guns taking on some local enhancement guys. They pick up the win with the leg drop from the top rope finisher. I think they're next up to get a tag team title shot. I can't think of anyone else right now who's also got momentum going for them. I think the Smoking Guns, they have 2 wins in a row, so that's all you need right now. We then get another report card with Dean Douglas. His word of the day is execution and is grading Bret Hart. He exposes how Bret wasn't the excellence of execution by making some mistakes during one of his matches. He gives Bret the grade of an F for the foundation of failure. Not much else there to talk about. These segments are really terrible if you ask me. I'm ready for him to just debut. This would probably happen sometime a little bit after SummerSlam. Next up, we have Hunter Hearst Helmsley taking on Jeff Hardy for the WWE Championship here at No Mercy 2008. Wait, getting too ahead of myself here. They're going after the Intercontinental title. Oh, wait, no, that's still a little bit too far. Crazy to see Helmsley here and compare it to how big he gets. Pause on that. And then you know what else? Because we've seen guys like Canyon, Jeff, and Matt Hardy, they technically made their debut already, so when they make their official debut with their new gimmicks or whatever it is, they're not going to be able to be in contention for the Dominance Award because they've already lost in these jobber matches. However, Helmsley still has the record to beat for that award because he picks up the win here with the pedigree and moves to 4-0 on Raw since making his debut. And then on the SummerSlam update, we have some awesome news. Barry Horowitz, who is now on a 2-match winning streak, will make his pay-per-view debut and take on Skip. Listen, I don't care what anyone says, but that's equivalent to a WrestleMania main event for Skip. Taking on Barry Horowitz on a pay-per-view, I mean, that's like the peak of professional wrestling. If you want to make it in the business and you get on the card with Barry Horowitz on a pay-per-view, you've made it. Now, I don't know if Skip is going to be able to take advantage of that, but, Barry Horowitz, already a legend, so it doesn't really matter who he faces, he's already made it. Next up, Henry Godwinn takes on a jobber. He picks up the win with the slop drop, and then during his entrance, it had me wondering if the roadie was cutting a random promo. They have a random guy shouting in his theme, and I swear it sounded like the roadie. And then Henry Godwinn also drops the slop on the jobber after the match as well. Then we get our WWF shop guy back promoting the mat caps. If you don't know what these are, go back a couple reviews where I go in depth on what they are. Savio Vega and the 123 Kid, aka Cannonball Kid, also seen playing with these caps to make it even more enticing to buy them, quote unquote. We then get the match between Jerry Lawler versus Shawn Michaels, who has become even more flamboyant in recent weeks, just teasing everybody, including me. Didn't know that it could get hotter than Pamela Anderson, but I was wrong. This match is not for the belt, by the way. Shawn makes easy work of Lawler at the start. He reverses a punch, which doesn't sound like much, but the way that he did it was great. He reverses it and hits a back body drop, then goes for it a second time, but Lawler gets him in position for a pile driver, but Shawn counters it. During this, Sid walks out and grabs the belt and just stays out there watching the match. Shawn gets sent into the corner twice, with the second time being where he does his corner spot and spills onto the outside, selling the back injury from last week. After the match gets slowed down by Jerry, Shawn eventually gets his comeback going and hits an elbow drop, followed by the sweet chin music. I think this is the first time that they actually call it by that name. It has been chin music before, but I don't think they ever added the sweet part to it. And Doc Hendricks was the one who said it, so maybe he's the one who came up with it on accident. One of the best finisher names in the history of wrestling, so good on Doc Hendricks if that was him making it up on the fly. Psycho Sid then gets in the ring and starts attacking Shawn, but Razor Ramon comes out for the save. Shawn again toots up for the super kick, but Razor moves him and tries to hit the Razor's edge. Lawler pulls Sid away, and they leave. In the ring, we get Razor and Shawn grabbing the belt, and Razor takes it from Shawn. And as he goes to give it back, Shawn reaches for it, but Razor just drops it on the mat. Diesel comes out to try to calm them down, and that's how the show ends. Not sure if this was edited, but they did two quick commercial breaks, which was weird. They came back from a commercial twice, but only had like 5 to 10 seconds of airtime before going to commercial again. Didn't make any sense. But yeah, that's how the show ends. I didn't feel like the show dragged at all. Doink vs. Wayland Mercy was fine for what it was. They had a little storyline to turn Godwin into a babyface. We got the announcement of Barry Horowitz being on pay-per-view, and the last match was also pretty good, and the aftermath. Sucks that it was a non-finish, but I'm not going to hold it against them this time. So I will give this episode a good grade. Yeah, looking back, most segments and matches had a place on the show, and it came and went. Nothing felt like it took up too much time or it was unnecessary. So yeah, that's it for the review. I am out.